welcome to a special edition of Wine Tasting Today. And today we're going all the way down to Okanagan Falls to Code Wines. How we got there, bit of a sad story I don't want to get into, but we heard about it and tried some of their Pinot Noir at Lake House Kitchens. And the Pinot Noir, which I'm not usually a big fan of, was delicious. So we had to try out Code Wines. So we drove down to Okanagan Falls and were met by the winemaker. And an interesting thing, when you do a wine tasting at Code Wines, because it is a very small winery, it's usually the winemaker that does the tastings. And his name is Shea Code. That's why it's called Code Wines. And he's originally from Nokomis, Saskatchewan. And he comes from a generation of farmers. In fact, he said that the growing of the grapes is the easiest part. It's the winemaking that has been the biggest learning challenge for him. But he's been learning winemaking from other winemakers in the Okanagan and from other sources. But winemakers in the Okanagan, including the Roche family from Naramata. He bought the property in Okanagan Falls in 2016 and planted vines in 2017. And we found throughout the tasting he was a super personable guy with a lot of wine knowledge and a great attitude towards the struggles the Okanagan has faced in recent years. So we tasted a variety of wines. So first of all, we tried the 2024 Chardonnay Growers Series. Now, Chardonnay, again, it's one of those wines that's not my favorite because a lot of them are so oaky and so butter popcorn flavored that are not very enjoyable. But this one, well, first of all, I'll give you the background on it. It was crafted in their winery in Okanagan Falls, and you'll hear that a lot this summer, that wines are crafted in Canada with Washington grapes. But this one was crafted from grapes grown in the Rattlesnake Hills AVA in Washington State. And they were trying for a more elegant and fresh summer style of Chardonnay. So there was a primary fermentation in stainless steel, and then 50% of the wine was racked into stainless steel and MLF was blocked, which gives it that bright, fruity sharpness that can be really nice in a white wine. And the remaining 50% was racked in a combination of new and neutral French oak. I think he said, though, there was a fairly small amount of new oak because it's softened slightly, but overall is a very nice fruity Chardonnay that I really, really enjoyed. I would definitely purchase that Chardonnay again. It was $32, but still a really, really nice Chardonnay. The second wine we tried was the Cuvée Rosé Growers Series, again, which is crafted in BC from Washington grapes. And this time it's Grenache, Cinsault, and Syrah. And although you see a lot of Syrah in the Okanagan, you don't see a lot of Grenache, and you see very little Cinsault. But I think there's a lot of Cinsault, or Cinsault does really well in Washington State. Now, this wine was a lovely, lovely rosé. Dry, light, beautiful colored, perfect with a charcuterie board, but also perfect just with some sunshine and a deck chair. Really, really, really nice rosé. And this rosé goes for $27. The next up was the 2022 Estate Pinot Noir. This was the one that brought me to this winery in the first place because I find Pinot Noirs can be either super fruity or they be super earthy or super dirty, and I really like them kind of in between, and this one was. What they did was each clone was picked individually, and then after the fruit was destemmed and fermented, it was blended, I assume, and then aged in French oak for 8 months, 10%, which is new, and it was unfined and lightly filtered. Now, this wine was delicious. I really, really enjoyed the Pinot Noir. It was so tasty, such a tasty Pinot Noir. Fruity, but also had some earthiness, but just a beautiful combination. So that wine goes for $34. They also have some Pinot Noirs that are single clones, and the Clone 777 is one that I've had before that I really like. And he had a bottle there, which he opened up. And it was another delicious wine. It is a bit funkier because it's an unfiltered wine, but had a lovely taste and a lovely fruitiness to it, and also some good earthiness. But this was a very nice wine. It was around, I think, $32. It was just a little less than the Estate Pinot Noir, but definitely would try that one if you had a chance as well. Finally, we had the 2023 Black Label Syrah. Now, we didn't try it from the bottle, but we had a barrel tasting. But let me tell you about the wine first. It says this is a Black Label wine. It's their wine of exceptional quality, a combination of a warm growing season and a small crop. It's an intense and age-worthy wine. The grapes were handpicked in October and destemmed in an open top tank. Whole berry fermentation started with a Mediterranean yeast and was aged in French oak for 18 months. And this wine will benefit from another 3 to 5 years of bottle age. So we didn't try the wine from the bottle. In this case, we tried the wine from the barrel. And so what he did is he gave us some of the Syrah that has been stainless steel aged with no oak, and some of the Syrah that has been aged in oak. And we tried just a little bit of the Syrah that had not been aged in oak, and it was delicious, but very fruity and kind of sweet. And then he added, I don't know, it was like 20% or so of the Syrah aged in oak, and added it to that, mixed it up, and you tasted that, and it was like so wonderful, so delicious. It had taken that sweet edge off the Syrah and had given that complexity and earthiness. It was a wonderful, wonderful Syrah. So we ended up actually joining their wine club. They have, if you buy 6 bottles, you get 5% off. And if you get 12 bottles, you get 10% off. And we were with my brother-in-law, so we all pooled our resources and bought 12 bottles with a 10% savings. And we got a couple of etched wine glasses as well. And we didn't have to pay for our tasting, which was $15 a person. So we saved $45 there. And the beautiful thing is that the wine club is, there's no commitment. Buy your case of wine or your 6 wines, and that's your commitment for that year. And if you choose to do it the next year, then you buy another 6 or another 12. So overall, I would definitely, if you were going to Okanagan Falls for some wine touring, I would definitely stop here, as this has some amazing wines and a really personable winemaker, and this did not disappoint. So next time you're in the Okanagan Falls, check out Code Wines.
If you are looking to book a wine tour of the Okanagan for this summer, and you're interested in a customizable, flexible, and completely private wine tour with a wine expert in the comfort of your own vehicle, please check out the link below in the comments.